This is Primitive Outfitting, and you are listening to the Gritty Bowmen.
Chicken. Wow, wow.
Wow.
Nice.
And I'm not standing on my high horse saying I shoot a self bow, because there's no way in hell I'm shooting a self bow. When I say that, I mean that in a good Christian way.
As far as Cecil goes with me, I mean, I could really give a crap about that lion too much.
And all I was looking at was the tip of Aaron's arrow. And it was like this and this, and then it was kind of shaking, and then it went boom, solid like a rock. And I'm like, oh.
He's like, I gotta know if you hit anything or not. You never really show excitement, because I don't. I'm kind of always mellow. And this thing, ready to jerk a tear. I was running around like an idiot. Woo! You know, if you ever talk to anybody from Africa, they're all about hunting lions because they eat people. Yeah. The compound, I have total confidence. With this thing, I'm like, yeah, maybe. But the way that America works, we're so soft, like softer than baby. All of us, basically.
The shooting errors, I'm going to call it Matrix effect. I panicked.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Gritty Bowmen. Today we're going to talk about shelters, floorless shelters from Kifaru, and we're at the Kifaru home office. And we just got the Tut set up. We've been getting a ton of questions on whether someone should buy the Sawtooth or the Tut for two people, and why, the pros and cons of both. So we've got everything ready to go. Brian's behind camera 1, camera 2. We've got Dwayne. We've got Tort Life laying on the ground as a prop. And we've got me talking. Mostly I'm just repeating what I've overheard. So Patrick designed the Sawtooth several years ago, and that's back there, and it's in the background. He didn't mess around when he designed that. It withstands heavy winds, snow. It's got good room. You can stand up in it. It's about 7 foot tall. With the Tut, this was catered more to the ultralight. It sets up faster. It's lighter weight. It does not have a liner where the Sawtooth does. So you've got pros and cons to both. Now, with the Tut, it's 100 inches square. It goes up super fast. You stake out the 4 corners, and then it's got intermediate stake points at the same time. So it goes up really, really quick. You pop up the center pole. This is 6'7", 6'8" tall. The Tut is. Now, if you can look, we've got a dead elk beside Frank, but it gives you an idea. You've got plenty of room for both guys to lay down. You've got space in between them, and you've got a little bit of room at the head and the foot. Now, the downside, since there is no liner, you can get condensation in here, and Frank, go ahead and lay down like flat. If you stay off of the edge, you're not going to run into any problems with getting condensation on you unless you get into high wind. The biggest reason you're going to use the Tut flat out is to save weight in fast pitches. Those are the big ones. Now, Frank, hop up if you don't mind. Let's head over to the Sawtooth. Now, with the Sawtooth, Frank, he's got a cot beside him. He's laying down. He's still got a couple feet at the foot, or the back end of the Sawtooth. It's 13 foot, I think 8 inches long. It's about 8 inches wide in the front, 6 inches wide in the rear. It's a little bit taller. It has multiple staking points in comparison to the Tut. The Tut doesn't have probably half, I guess. I think this thing takes 22, 23 stakes, where the Tut, I think you're looking at, you can get away with 16 or less with the Tut. Now, if you look in here, try to get a wide open view, generally what happens, people get as far down as they can, as far as with their sleep system. As you come forward, you've got the stove not too far off this pole here, and then their gear is either in the center or up front, depending along with firewood. So, which one should you get? That's the big question, I guess. I would say the easiest way to explain it, or what I tell customers, if you're going to be camping in like 4th season, snow, high wind, anything like that, you're going to want to go with the Sawtooth and take the weight penalty. By the time it's said and done, it's a 1.5 pound increase with the liner, but you do get a liner with it. You also have, 70, 80 mile an hour wind gusts where it can hold up to that. If you want to go with the Tut, you're going with ultra lightweight. It's a little bit easier to use a stick as the center pole in comparison, just because the Sawtooth pole is a little bit taller. This goes up quicker, much, much quicker, the Tut does compared to the Sawtooth. I would have to say, what do you think? 4 minutes compared to 10? Yeah, I'd say the Tut you can get up in 3 to 4 minutes. The Sawtooth's going to be 8 to 12. Now, you need a bigger footprint with the Sawtooth because it's so long. It's 13 foot 8 inches long, where with the Tut, it's 100 inches squared, goes up quite a bit faster, and less room. Now, when you start to get into, the ultra lightweight mentality, you can put the Sawtooth up and you can put the Tut up with just trees, basically. We've cut down aspen trees. We haven't cut down live ones because that's not nice. We've taken fairly newly dead aspen trees to put them up. We've got markers on the side of the Sawtooth as far as the dimensionality of what you need. So that works out pretty well. I really don't know. Frank, you got anything to chime in? Nothing at all?
Come on, Frank. I like them both. I think Aaron's right. They both have their place as far as wind capabilities. It has the whiner, ultralight, so it's kind of a toss-up.
As you can see, Frank's not a man of many words, although we couldn't get him to shut up earlier. Frank was talking earlier, the Sawtooth is hard to beat. And he's right. You've got he just said, the wind. It handles wind really well. It also has the liner and a little bit, more room in some cases. It's kind of a hit and miss with the room thing because in some ways the Tut has more room depending upon what you're doing. In other ways, the Sawtooth has more room. You can fit 3 guys in the Tut, and you can fit 3 guys in the Sawtooth, but both of them are really catered for 2. Now, heating wise, guys ask me what heats up better or easier. I don't know that I notice a difference at all. I don't think you could quantify that. We can't.
I think one thing that's nice about the Tut is that when you have a cylinder stove in there, or really any stove, one guy can lay on either side of it.
Yep.
Whereas the stove in the Sawtooth is at the front, so it kind of seems like it's warmer in the Tut just because you have that stove right next to your body.
It does heat your body up more equally in the Tut because the stove is dead center. Now, if you can imagine inside here, the stove is generally right here in the Sawtooth. So the guy on this side is generally going to be pulling the wood from where this horn pile is, putting it inside the stove, where this guy is just going to be laying here. Also, for the guy getting out to pee in the Sawtooth, this dude is going to have a little bit more problem stepping over the wood pile compared to this guy right here. Where if we go back to the Tut, moving, with the Tut, you've got the stove jack right here. The stove generally goes right beside here. It's in the middle of your body. Both guys can get up and walk out the front. Now the zipper is obviously right there, but either way, you only have a stake point there, so it's pretty simple. Now in the case with Brian and I, when we camped for elk season, we camped head-to-head, toe-to-toe with the normal man card spacing between us, like we had that gap, and it wasn't really an issue. We had all our gear piled up here. I had a bunch piled up at my head for a pillow, and then during the day we left this wide open. 1, because we had elk going through all the time. 2, to let wind come in and out. So, both great systems. If you're going to be camping in extreme weather, though, go with the Sawtooth. If you're trying to save weight, go with the Tut. That's the easiest way to look at it.
All right, folks. You just finished hearing Aron Snyder extol the virtues of the Tut and the Sawtooth. And any further questions you can send in. We're going to cover. We're going to set up some Hilleberg's tents that are floored shelters.
My other favorite shelter.
Correct. And we're going to show a little podcast about that and cover that later. And we'll talk a little more about all the tent options then.
I'm about to get made fun of. I just crossed my legs by Tony Mudd. I don't do it right, I guess. I don't know if I'm supposed to be over more.
No. That's more masculine right there. That's how I do it.
I got to stretch my IT.
Do you find that you cross your legs better like my left leg does not cross as well as the right.
My right one's generally stiffer than my left in the IT band right here.
So
I can't make it go down right now. Like, that's it.
Yeah, see, this is super relaxed.
Yeah, I don't know.
Thanks for that tangent. Folks, so
they were cones.
Thanks for listening to the Gritty Bowmen podcast. And if you've got any specific questions about the shelters Aaron covered today, send them in to Gritty Bowmen. We're going to try to answer those. Friends, hunters, outdoorsmen, lend me your ears. Please take this moment to listen to this excerpt from the Gritty Bowmen film, Back to Traditions. Despite our ever-changing, ever-indignant world with its growing ignorance of and indifference to the ways of the wild, I remain a predator, pitying those who revel in artificiality and synthetic success while regarding me and my kind as relics of a time and place no longer valued or understood. I stalk a real world of dark wood and tall grass stirred by a restless wind blowing across sunlit water and beneath star-strewn sky. And on those occasions when I choose to kill, to claim some small part of nature's bounty for my own, I do so by choice, quickly, with the learned efficiency of a skilled hunter. Further, in my heart and mind, I know the truth and make no apologies for my actions or my place in time. Others around me may opt to eat only plants, nuts, and fruits. Still others may employ faceless strangers to procure their meats, their leather, their feathers, and all those niceties and necessities of life. Such is their right, of course, and I wish them well. All I ask in return is no one begrudge me, and all of us who may answer the primordial stirrings within our hunter souls, my right to do some of these things myself. What you just heard is a quote from M.R. James. We truly live in a world that is largely ignorant and indifferent to the ways of the wild. And although some regard us as relics of a time and place no longer valued or understood, we have the opportunity to change the way these people view the hunter and the hunt. We can share our experiences and nature's bounty with those who employ these faceless strangers. And by so doing, we make a difference, not just for ourselves, but for the wild animals in the wild places we care so deeply about. Never stop sharing your passion for hunting and the outdoors. Our wild animals and our wild places depend on it. We want to thank Kifaru, Mountain Ops, Hoyt, Vortex, Phelps, Black Eagle Arrows, and Crispy Boots for supporting the Gritty Bowmen. We love these companies and the people behind them. They truly make fantastic products. Please support them whenever you can. And as always, good luck on your hunts and stay gritty.
This is Ty Stubblefield, and you're listening to the Gritty Bowmen.
Gritty Bowmen.